Well, good afternoon. Today is the second installment of Navy Band Northeast Historical Project that we're excited to welcome our guest today, who is musician Senior Chief Andre Lussier. And this is a chance for us to capture Navy musician history. So at this point, with me today is our Senior Enlisted Leader, Senior Chief Patrick Hawes. We have our Senior Chief Ryan Hudson with us as well, and also LCPO Chief Ian Charlton. So we're ready to start, and I'm going to lob the first question toward you. And can you tell me about some of the history of the Com Crew Deslant Band and how it came to be and what you did when you were doing all the booking for the bands? Can you
Well,
speak to us?
the Concord Desline Band came about because we had destroyers and cruisers and tenders tied to the piers on the Oyster of Melville. And we had a flag on the ship, and they assigned them a band. And what we did, we worked like a fleet band, and we did morning calls. We played parties. We marched around for parades. We did a beautiful memorial on the 30th of May to the docks and threw a wreath over. And it was a productive band. And then we had the pleasure of having an admiral that loves to go deep sea fishing. And all of a sudden they pick up the anchor and we're in the Yosemite and we go to Bermuda. What a deal this is, right? A bunch of kids in the band, they all having a ball in Bermuda. We meet some English musicians, their band in Bermuda. We're jamming, we're having all kinds of things.
Can you tell us the story that you related to us once about how you were going to do a broadcast and the leader of the band wasn't there?
Oh, that was so funny.
Can you tell us that story?
Yes. The thing was happening was a gas station across the river, right? They were getting jets, about 48, right? That's the Navy you get the jets. And people were getting all upset about that. So we had an admiral in charge of Quonset Point, and he was going to go on the radio. So I was the first class then, and we had told we're going to be on the air with the admiral when he makes the presentation, and they even had a choir from the academy. And we had a rehearsal and all that. Yeah, right. So the broadcast is going on, and that Admiral Askin is and I got my clarinet. The choir's right there. And when the time comes to play, I don't see him around, right? Make a long story short, what's the first class supposed to do? You want to be a chief? Well, act like a chief. So I conducted the choir, I conducted the band, and we closed it. So I'm packing up my own. The admiral comes up and he's thanking me. A wonderful show. But who comes in the door but that unfortunate chief? And he comes up and he goes to the admiral. The admiral says, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm the bandmaster." I said, "Get out of there. That first class handle everything beautifully." So in my mind I said, "I'll teach him a lesson." One time I had a boot band, complete fresh out of school, and they shipped them to North Island, where I received them. You know, I had come from NTC, and I had one first class, and all these poor kids were third class, some were seamen, and they'd never been on the fleet yet. So we go on the fleet, and we're working, no place to rehearse on this carrier now. So I made a deal with the boatswain's locker, and we got a canvas for the forecastle. Imagine rehearsing your band with a sea as born on the side of you, but we did it. So after World War II, if I may tell you this,
Yes.
there's nothing impossible with the Navy. We lost, our band came out, we had a mixture of reserves and regulars, because at the time, the school didn't require to be a regular. So I lost practically my whole band in points. So what does the chief do? He puts a notice in the plan of the day. I put in the plan of the day, anybody blows a horn. Guy didn't want to put blow there. You mean plays? I says, blow. I want a guy that blows a horn. Call me, hey, 2, 3 days later, here comes the commander. And he comes in, and he's got an outfit sack. Herb Rosen. Oh, this is a beautiful story. I says, okay, Herb. Oh, and I says, remember one thing, Herb. When you're sitting there, you are Herb. Over there, you're commander. Otherwise, I'm the boss. The drummer comes and he's in the same squadron as the commander. Yeah, he's in charge of TBMs. If you remember TBM, the pilot, the radio man, and the gunner, right? So I got my idea, man. Boy, I'm tired of that trip, man. We haven't been no place. So I said, hey, Herb, I got an idea. Next time you go up, I'm going up with you. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't, I can't take it. Oh, okay, we'll see. So I put a bug in the panels near. Keep bugging him because I'm going up, you know. So finally he says, this is so fantastic. So he says, okay, so at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the ready room, putting the drummers outfit on, and I go on the TBM, and they start, right? So they take us to the catapult, and he says, hang on, man, brace yourself, I'm going to be shot off. So, hey, I'm having a blast, man. We fly over the Great Wall of China. We go over the Hirohito's castle in Japan. We're doing all kinds of flying around. And all of a sudden, I look up, and I see the Hellcats and the Corsairs. And I says, Herb, Andy talking there. What do you want? What the hell them guys doing over here? Oh, he says, I forgot to tell you. We don't waste any money in the Navy. Every time we go up, we exercise. I says, what do you mean exercise? Just hang on. No. Oh my God, man. And I says, hey man, you got bombs back here or something, man. He says, you do that, you'll be cleaning the back of that plane, man. So anyways, we finally got done with that. And we're flying, man. And he says to me, you see that thing down there? Man, I'm looking at the ocean, man. I don't see it down. He says, there's a little piece of wood down there. The carrier looks like a little piece of wood. He says, we're going to land on that. I says, oh my God, right? And he says, when we get down there now, brace your neck because we're going to get caught with that hook, you know? Goes around. I get off of that plane, runs in there, take that suit off, put my uniform. The band says, where you been, Chief? Oh my God, I had so much paperwork to do, man. It was ridiculous. And I told Thompson not to bother me because if I don't get the reports at the School of Music, you know, remember the big fitness thing there? You put everybody's name on.
So, Andre, if I can, we've got questions from Senior Chief
Okay.
Hawes and also from Chief Charlton and Senior Chief Hudson. If you don't mind, I'm
Oh,
going to have them
okay.
ask you some questions.
So, Andre, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. My question is, during your time here at the band, what was your biggest leadership challenge
My
that you
biggest
faced?
leadership challenge was the fact that I was a naval station band, and there was a flag on the base, which was a base command, and there was a flag at the war college. One guy was a rear, the other guy was a vice. And I'm working for Captain Finnegan, okay? And my orders came through a warrant officer, special services, and the woman that recorded the stuff. And the problem is they never understood what the band is for. So make a long story short, being who I am, I don't take defeat. So I made a friend with the adjutant, and I says, you know something? I says, I got a wonderful band. I says, you have a party, I'll play for you. You have a party, I'll play for you. I said, playing all these parties. The thing with me is I thank God when he gave me the will to do my job. The obstacles were worse in our days than maybe they're as bad now, I don't know, but you had to fight. Everybody on the,
Some things never
Some
change.
things never change,
Yeah.
Andre. I think you'd agree with me.
Yeah.
So, I was wondering if you could talk with us a little bit about how you got into the Navy and why you chose the Navy as opposed to the Army or the Marine Corps, and just what was your motivation, and what were your early days of service like?
well, my decision came through because I had 5 brothers in the Army. And I had a brother that was in the Navy before 25, during the Depression. And he come home, and he was a chief, quartermaster, white shirt. My other brothers come home, they had burlap bags on. A family of 21 children. And I was the youngest. And we were born in front of Notre Dame Church in Fall River. My father had a grocery store, thank God. And in them days, it was family. We had music in the family. Every one of my brothers had a chance at the trumpet, the C melody sax. And that was our big thing. I had a brother who was a fabulous pianist. He went to the New England Conservatory and became the organist for the Cathedral in Fall River. But to get back to my life, I'm going to decide to go in the Navy. But then, like I mentioned, I think, I went for my clarinet lesson downtown. And when I come out, I heard a band. And I went around the corner, right in front of the Granite Park, the City Hall, was a Navy band. They were playing for war bonds. And I said, "Oh, Papa Mia, we got music in the Navy." So I went up to Chief Griffin. I'll never forget his name, Griffin. And I looked at the guy, and I said, "Pardon me, sir." I was smart because I don't know what the hell it was. But I said, "How does a kid like me get in a Navy band like that?" He turns around like Mr. Know-It-All. I'm a young kid. "You blow a horn, man?" I says, "Right here, that's a clarinet." So I came, he says, "When you get drafted next year, get in the Navy." Well, my father, having the grocery store, was very active in the French community. He sold insurance on the side, Franco-American policy, and he knew people at the draft. So I got in the Navy. And I went to boot camp right in Newport. And I went to take an audition, and they propped up. And then it was a woman on the side, I didn't know. Play a C scale. I said to myself, for Christ's sake. But I took my time. You know anything about chromatics? Well, I can play the range of my own chromatically. He looks at me like, "Who's he?" BS. So I go down the low E, and I stop at the G3. And I says, "I'll try and get the C4 for you." It wouldn't come up. "Oh, you can do all that?" I said, "Yeah." "Can you read music?" "Oh, yes, sir." He puts out the Lazarus book, and the 2 book, and he flips the page, and then the 16 notes all staccato. And I'm going, I don't know if the song's making about me. So he looks at me, he says, "Oh, you don't want to go to no school of music." I says, "What do you have in mind, sir?" "I'll keep you here. I can use another clarinet." They had bands all over the place. They must have had 100 different groups all over the place. I look at them and I says, "Boy, that's very kind of you." But I says, "I'm 18 and I'm tired of the scenery around there." And I heard they got a wonderful school of music in Washington, D.C. And I'm raring to go. "Oh, you want to go that bad?" "Well, I want to learn stuff. I mean, I'm not learning. You don't learn nothing just like I learn." "Oh, man. Go ahead." Boy, that was a day of my life. I get to school. My God, man, they teach me how to blow sax, bari sax. You go to the classroom, they're playing Beethoven. Tchaikovsky, Kusevsky. Boy, I never heard that stuff. You know what I mean? And you got all the bands you sit in with, and then you had to play in a dance band. And to me, the school was a new world. It's just like you woke me up to a university or something. The solfege, da, 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 da. You sing in CG now. CG, CG.
Well, sir, I do want to say it is a pleasure to speak with you. And in fact, the first time I met you was about maybe 10 years ago when I was a first class downtown in Newport. I was leading the band.
You were in
And
the,
I was the
you
one that
were
was leading
St.
the band.
Lucy's.
Right. Yes. Right. So.
And you were
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you so much. So it was a pleasure, to meet you then. And when I came back here to get stationed again, I was glad to hear that we're doing all this stuff. So it's a pleasure to try to capture some of this stuff. And all the stories, it sounds like you've had a wonderful time in the Navy and in life in general. And you are a inspiration to us. So I do want to say that. But I guess one of the things Chief asked about what brought you into the Navy. I guess my question is, what kept you in for as long as you stayed in for 26 years?
31.
So, I'm sorry, what was it?
31.
Oh, 31, I'm sorry. So even better. What kept you going, I guess is my question.
The thing that kept me going was the fact I loved what we did. There was a lot of heartaches and bad stuff, but when I sat down with that band, man, then you're out of it. You don't even know you're on a ship. Da, 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 da. And that was my inspiration. My clarinet, being able to blow out alto and the bass. And it was an experience that you saw what the sailors actually do. Okay? On World War II, I loaded the 40 millimeters. Okay? After the war, I went aboard the 16-inch gun because I'm nosy, and I saw that crane, and oh God, the powder comes up.
Wait, you crawled into a 16-inch neighborhood?
Well, I could take it. I asked permission.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, no.
I know a chief can do almost anything they want. So
No. I want to see how that worked, man. On the part of the shell come in. Then after that, man, I went down to the fire room. Look around. And then the funny part of it is I didn't realize that I was making friends. And I was making people feel happy at what they did because I was interested. But I was selfish because I was curious. I mean, I knew that ship didn't go by itself, you know what I mean? And it paid off. You know what I mean? But I made friends. One time on the Antietam, we're living over in the bakery. I'm working in the bakery. And I met a kid from Caribou, Maine. And he introduced me to the first class. I ain't got nothing to do at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm up and do the pans for whatever. But then the band was never out of goodies in the band. Cookies and cakes. But the chief come in and I thought you were a musician. I said, yeah, but I ain't got nothing to do till 7:30. And I wake up early on it. And I can't explain why God made me this way, but I'll tell you, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And you were fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Man, when you was at St. Lucy's with a band, dance band. Oh man, he blew my mind. You still blow, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You still live on the boat?
No, I don't.
What, can I just say, your memory,
That's funny.
your memory is incredible.
Well, thank you.
I mean, listen, think of the stuff, the whole stories here. You're remembering every name all the way back into the 1940s, and you remember that he lived on a boat.
10 years ago.
I'm impressed. So here's what I'll close with this, is if you were talking to a young sailor right now who's trying to decide whether they're going to stay in or not, you've made a whole career in the Navy, and you're very proud of what you did. we as bandsmen stand on the shoulders of men like you and all the work that you did and all the great musicianship and the connections and all the bridge building you did. What would you say to someone to encourage them about the Navy journey to stay in? What would you say?
Well, I would first of all evaluate him in the level of music he's at, right? And today, you take your band, for instance. These kids can go to college. They say, what, 5 years, 6 years. It's different than my day. We had 2 or short, 2 or 11. And then I would talk sincerely, make him realize that he has a tool that he can share with people. And he can better himself musically if he wants to from the experience, the different circumstances, the different functions he'll play and all this.
I would say it's probably safe to say that you're very proud of how your Navy music career supported the U.S. Navy, the bigger mission. You feel a part of that. Is it safe to say?
Oh yeah. The Navy music opened my eyes to what's possible. Okay? When I mentioned a while ago, when I get to the school of music, all I play is clarinet. Well, Sam Alderson, remember I had the dance band? And there was a guy by the name of Benny Green, and he had to go on emergency leave. He come and got me the gold medal with the faculty band. And that didn't tell me but one thing. I produce.
Thank you so much for taking
I'm
your
sorry.
time to spend with us.
I'm sorry I talk so much, but I'm happy. And you people, I love. You follow a wonderful career. And I'm 92. I'm going to be 93 June the 2nd. But what can I say? I'm blessed.